to extra time after yet another Leicester City victory. It really has been a fantastic start to the season and start to life as a championship club for Enzo Maresca and the Foxes. 7 wins from 8, 21 points after those 8 games. A really, really good start, and Leicester City are top of the league. We'll talk about the victory over Bristol City at the weekend. We'll touch upon the win at Norwich as well, which Iwan, of course, was at, and maybe the week in general, really. Beating Southampton, beating Norwich, beating Bristol City. We'll go globetrotting with Iwan. We'll talk about Jamie Vardy's celebration antics as well. We've got our Ladle, so plenty going on for you over the course of the next hour or so. Joining me, Dan Bates, this evening, I've got Iwan Roberts sat to my left, my co-host Gerry Taggart sat to my right-hand side, and Tony Cottee, as ever, joins us via Zoom. Iwan, we'll start with you though. Good evening to you. You've had another busy weekend. You were gallivanting up to the northeast yesterday.
I was off Saturday. Didn't work Saturday. I've got twin daughters, and they were 28 yesterday, so I took the one that lives in Norwich out for a few little sherbets. Sunderland yesterday up at the Stadium of Light. They're a really good side, by the way. Tony Mowbray, very, very young. How Cardiff went there, and it was a bit of a smash and grab. They won the game 1-0, 88th minute header from Mark McGuinness, and it was hard. It was a hard one for Tony and his team and his supporters. 40,000 fans in the Stadium of Light, and then last night I watched Wales absolutely trounce the Australians.
Yeah, I thought that was quite a nice end to the weekend for you, Iwan, wasn't that? Different sport, but you're still equally as happy. Gerry Taggart, you'll be happy with Ireland as well at the start of the World Cup in rugby. But we're here to talk about football, and you were here, of course, for the game on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Tom.
Evening, Tags. Evening, Ewan. Evening, Dan.
TC.
Yeah, another great performance, I thought, on Saturday. Bristol City made it hard for Leicester. At times, Leicester, again, obviously the best team on the pitch. Everyone that was here could see that. Find it difficult to break them down because of some, last-ditch defending, brave last-ditch defending from Bristol City, including the goalkeeper and a couple of centre halves. But, eventually an absolute peach of a penalty from Jamie Vardy, saw Leicester over the line. Could have, should have been more, but as I said, you got to give Bristol credit for making it difficult. We thought it was going to be the way because Bristol are a decent side who are in decent form. But Leicester, really solid performance again on Saturday.
And last but not least, Tony Cottee, good evening to you. It's fantastic to see and hear from you at the start of the show. There were a few technical difficulties last week, but we've got you hopefully for the full hour tonight.
Yeah, there was quite a few issues last week, Dan. I've had one of those weeks where I've been really, really busy. I've been too much on the golf course. I've just come off the golf course today as well. So it's a tough life, Dan, but someone has to do it. And then I'm popping off for a little holiday as well tomorrow. So, it's really tough for me at the moment. I just wanted to share that with you boys.
Yeah, you going away with him, Gerry, by the sounds of things? You're going on a golfing trip tomorrow as well, so it's all right for some, isn't it? Yeah,
some people have to work for a living.
We'll stay here and work, of course. Liverpool away in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. We'll have all the coverage of that. We'll also preview it a little bit later. Do get involved with us if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube in the comments section. Apping12 just says Jamie Vardy and 4 exclamation marks. I think a lot of people were thinking that, weren't they, at the weekend. Mab says, good evening over there. He's listening from the Philippines. And Lisa says, a win is a win. Well done. We just need to be looking at scoring a few more. We had so many chances. We'll get onto that in just a moment. But Gerry, as you've already touched upon, a win is a win.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how it comes. And he took a penalty, but Leicester got the 3 points in the end.
Yeah, I think if you analyse every game Leicester have played at home, every team have sort of came here and done the same and defended deep, made them hard, made it difficult for Leicester to break them down. They have created chances. And you hear Enzo himself, just little decisions that, certain players make in those kind of areas where you're trying to get the ball into the back line. Still a bit of improvement, but overall, they lost their last game, haven't been the best team on the pitch, but lost it to, not a soft goal. Probably Hull's best player on the pitch on the day, got a deflected shot off Vestergaard's backside. So yeah, but then Leicester tried to come back strong, and it was a similar kind of scenario on Saturday. Although Leicester controlled the game more, I thought the interplay between Ricardo and Harry Winks was a bit more fluid than it has been. So you can see the improvement in that. Again, Ndidi looked hungry. So did Fatawu. Looked really sharp. Looked as if they had the bit between their teeth. So yeah, I think you're seeing the improvement signs all the time, and they deserve the 3 points. There's no doubt about that.
I've not seen the game. I've seen a big chunk of the highlights, and from what I saw, it looked a really comfortable, comprehensive 1-0 win. 69% possession, 19 shots, 7 on target, 9 corners. Bristol City had 1 shot on target. I think it came in the last minute
end.
From the free kick.
Yeah.
They had no corners. On another day, Leicester could have scored 2 or 3. I think it's the Dewsbury Hall header, very similar to this one that he scored on the opening day. Gets in the same position, heads it down, good header. Sadly, it stayed at the goalkeeper. It's been a great 8 days, lads. It's been a great 8 days. That win at Southampton, followed up by another comprehensive win at Carrow Road, having made 5 changes and 2 clean sheets on the spin.
Yeah, I think that's probably why you're saying, the away form is so good at the minute. Is because teams, when Leicester go away from, teams are trying to play their own game.
Well, you've got to come out and attack a bit
You've
more
got to
when
go out
you're
and
the host
attack,
side,
and it just suits Leicester. Whereas when Leicester play at home, teams are coming and just sitting back and trying to. It's difficult. So, but on Saturday, you're right. It was a comprehensive, controlled win. But still, they had one half decent effort that went over the bar. We've seen the likes of Aaron Ramsey for Cardiff. He smashed that one home. And okay, you're going to say that's not going to happen every week. But they still had chances, including the Dewsbury Hall chance. And there was 1 or 2 other chances that they just couldn't quite sneak. A 2-0, or if they'd have scored a little bit earlier in the first half, then you're thinking, are Bristol City going to come out a bit more, trying to get something out of the game, and then leave it wide open for Leicester to go and hit them for 2 or 3? That just didn't happen. Bristol were just solid all the way through, but as I say, Leicester too good.
Yeah, when you talk about weeks, Tony, the 8 days really between Southampton away, Norwich away, Bristol City at home, fans maybe even would have been happy with, a win and 2 draws in the away games. They've got 3 wins out of 3, 9 points on the board. Really, really good return.
Yeah, it's a fantastic return by the boys, and as you quite rightly say, Dan, very, very on paper, very, very difficult game. Southampton, we know all about them. Same with Norwich as well. And then, as the boys have touched on, you come up against a Bristol City team that started the season well. So, to win 3 games on the trot in any league is an achievement. Because that's what players are striving for individually and as a team. And we all know it's a work in progress. The manager's done fantastic so far, but there's still teething problems. There's still things going on in the game, and we've touched on perhaps the sort of not converting the chances. Sorry, but I don't worry about it too much, Dan. When you're creating chances, I'm like you, and I didn't see the game live like what Tags did, but I watched the highlights, and it was a very, very one-sided highlights package. There seemed to be chance after chance, particularly in that second half, and as a manager, I don't think you worry too much if the chances aren't being taken, because the quality strikers that Leicester have got, eventually one of them's going to click, and we've seen it with Jamie, we've seen it with Iheanacho and Daka as well. They're all capable of going on a run of form and scoring lots and lots of goals, consistently, especially in this division. So I'm not worried about them not so much taking the chances. I think the most important thing is those 3 points on the board. And, as we say, I've said it before, I'll say it again, every team that plays Leicester, it's a cup final. It is a cup final. You've only got to look at the league table. Leicester are top, got a wonderful stadium, passionate fans. Whenever any team comes to the KP, it's going to be a difficult game for Leicester. And that makes it hard when they put 11 men behind the ball. You've got to be patient. You've got to wait for those chances to develop. So, all in all, a fantastic 8 days for the club with some really, really big games coming up as well, I might add.
Yeah, that's exactly, actually, Tony, what Steve Winfield has said on Facebook. He says teams will come to the King Power Stadium and just get 11 men behind the ball and try and get anything they can, a little bit like Hull did, although they did play some good stuff themselves. Steve Chapman said we played a typical Nigel Pearson team. We'll come on to him in just a moment. Body on the line, so many blocks, and that's what they did, Bristol City. But Leicester were good enough and were able to overcome that.
I look at the attacking options. I look at Leicester going forward. I wouldn't say it's been a struggle at home. And we've spoken about the reasons why possibly haven't scored as many goals at the King Power as some supporters would like. Still the 5th highest scorers in the league. But most importantly for me, we've said for years that putting the ball in the back of the opposition's net isn't a problem for this Leicester team. The problem over the last 2 or 3 years has been keeping them out. Conceded 5 goals in 8 league games, the best defensive record in the league. That's what wins you promotion.
Yeah, I saw earlier that incredibly that's been nearly a year really since Leicester's last home clean sheet in the league, and they were able to get that, and surely they're going to build on that. And as you've rightly said, probably a better one for Gerry actually defensively. The fact that they are the meanest defence in the league, 8 games in, just 5 goals conceded, as you said.
And again, you can see a marked improvement from the first game of the season, where there was a few issues in regards to the back line being stretched. You didn't really see that. I didn't see it against Southampton, and I didn't see it again on Saturday. I didn't see it at Rotherham, even though they piled the pressure on away for a 10-15 minute spell in that second half. They got the equaliser, and then from that equaliser, Leicester just controlled the rest of that game. So I think from Rotherham on, I've seen a marked improvement defensively as well. And you said it, if you're going to get promoted out of the Championship or League 1 or League 2, then your defence has to be solid, and that's what you're seeing now. So keeper as well, all right, he's came and dropped one, but he's coming for more stuff as well, which is great to see from him. So you can sort of forgive him for that, the one he's dropped with that cross, but he was on the front foot. He wanted to take that ball, and he's made a mistake, but the ball hasn't gone in the back of net because, there was some good defending by him, covering defend by him, but especially James Justin. So I don't mind that as such, because you want to see your keeper being positive in those scenarios.
I mean, I had a massive problem Wednesday night, didn't I? Who to give the man of the match to? You go to Carrow Road, and once again, it was a comfortable win. A comfortable win. I got the feeling that if needed, there was another gear to go up from a Leicester City point of view. Get that penalty in the first half, and it was a penalty. Scored that fantastic set-up. But some of the defending from Fass, Vestergaard and Doyle, because to be fair to Leicester, they put to Norwich in that second half, they pumped so many balls into that Leicester penalty box, and time again, Tags, Vestergaard heading it out, putting his body on the line. Absolutely outstanding. I gave it to Vestergaard in the end. I mean, too many times attacking players get the spoils of the player of the match. But it was either, I could have given it to one of the 3 of them, to be fair.
Yeah, well, John Davis on Facebook says, impressed with the 2 young wingers and the goalkeeper. We'll talk about the wingers in just a moment, but as we're talking about the goalkeeper, Tony, we'll continue with it. If you believe the reports, obviously, in the summer, it cost £5 million, and he looks fantastic. He's made some brilliant saves, but he's playing out from the back. Clearly, that was a huge reason and a huge part of the thinking in terms of signing him, because he's so good with the ball at his feet. But we've seen in the last few games, he does his job, and that is saving shots.
It's interesting you talk about playing the ball out with your feet as a goalkeeper, Dan, because I mentioned I've been on a golf day. There were 2 really, really good goalkeepers on that golf day, Dave Besan and David Seaman, and I spoke to both of them, and they was both obviously talking about the situation at Arsenal, about the 2 goalkeepers, and then we got on to talking about playing with your feet. And I said to Dave Besan, I said, Dave, what does it come to with goalkeepers that we're talking about how good they are with their feet as opposed to how good they are with their hands? Excuse me, goalkeeping's changed, and it's a big part of the game now. The manager quite clearly, if you work under Pep Guardiola, you can see what Man City are doing. You see how they play, and you see how important it is to have what they call a sweeper keeper, someone who's good with their feet and that. And Hermansen's done brilliant. He's good with his feet. I like the commanding thing about the box as well. Tags touched on it. I like that. If there's been, if you ask me, the biggest criticism of Leicester defensively over the last couple of years, I think the boys would probably agree it's been from set pieces, particularly corners. And I've watched the games. Not all of them live, but the games I've seen. There is a hunger and a desire. The defenders are heading the ball away. And I think it helps when you have a commanding goalkeeper. You need a goalkeeper in there who's bossing the defenders around. Tags will tell you more than me. You need someone, to take control of the situation. If he shouts goalkeeper, you duck or get out of the way and let him fist it clear and, come out and play. But you also want that skill with their feet as well. And I think Hermansson's, it's early days, and I never like getting too carried away about talking about any player that's only played 7, 8, 9 games, whatever it might be for the club. But he's made a fantastic start to his career, and at the moment, Leicester look really, really secure defensively.
I mean, going back to Wednesday night, and I hate harping on about Wednesday because we should be talking about the game on Saturday. He made one really good save early doors in that first half. But and I know which one you're thinking of, the one from Duffy. Wow. I mean, that's an unbelievable save, to be fair. He's got no right to save that. I mean, and I think that was at 1-0 as well, Dan. I think had that gone in, the tide might have turned. The Norwich fans would have sort of galvanised their team. And it was point blank range. It was a corner kick, I think it was, wasn't it? And he's made himself big. Somehow he's kept it out
and then got the rebound. The cross came back in, and he won that one as well.
Yeah, and it's not easy because he didn't have a lot to do. So his concentration levels were absolutely magnificent, considering he had such a quiet night on Wednesday.
Yeah, but I think we all know I didn't see the save, but on a few occasions this season when he's been called in the action, again I think it was first game of season.
Coventry.
He's pulled off a magnificent save that got deflected
onto the bar,
and he's had to tip it onto the bar. So he's got that in his locker. He's also, and as we know, so he's almost like a clone of Kasper Schmeichel. Fantastic shot stopper, very good with his feet, and he's improving all the time. When the crosses are coming in, can the keeper come and grab it or punch it away? And I've seen an improvement on that as well.
And just going back to the defensive point of view, that's what's so impressive. You've got nearly a brand new back four, brand new goalkeeper, and they've settled quicker than snow, to be fair. And do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's really impressive. They've got that understanding that you need as a solid. Tags will tell you better than me. As a solid defensive unit, and that takes a lot of work, a lot of understanding, a lot of communication, organisation. Fantastic, it really is.
Yeah, one minor negative, well, we don't know how much of a negative it will be. Just speaking about the back four, we'll get this out of the way. Callum Doyle obviously left King Power Stadium on crutches on Saturday. Enzo Maresca said after the game he'd be having a scan on Monday, so hopefully we'll know more about that. Enzo's going to speak to the press tomorrow ahead of the Liverpool game. Hopefully we'll find out that we get good news there from Callum Doyle's injury. Obviously that would be a blow. Let's move on from that negativity though, Tony, because everything has been positive really, barring that Hull game for the whole season. And we've had a message from Kingsley Sham. He says every time Fatawu gets the ball on that right-hand side, it feels like something's going to happen. His directness left Bristol City's left back on the back foot all game. And that's exciting, isn't it? He almost scored a couple of times himself. He looked good when he came on against Hull as well. It looks as if both the left with Mavididi, on the right with Fatawu, whether that's Casey McAteer, who's the top scorer for the club, couldn't get in the team on Saturday. Wide player-wise, Leicester look really, really stacked in that position.
Yeah, great options as well, Dan. And, particularly after losing, obviously, Harvey Barnes, and then you sort of wonder, who's going to step up to the plate, One door closes, another one opens, as they say. And Mavididi, impressed with him, his start to the season. But I must admit, with that highlights package that I looked at, Dan, Fatawu, he just looked like everything went through him, particularly in that second half. He had a good effort in the first half, and he's got that ability, a bit like Riyad Mahrez, if you like, that little ability just to drop a shoulder, put the defender off balance, and just get it onto his left foot. And hit a shot at goal, which he did in the first half, which was saved. But going forward into the second half, I think what I liked was he was crossing the ball with both feet. and you don't get that. You a lot of the time you get very one-footed players. And there's nothing wrong with being one-footed. I was one-footed, and Taggart was left-footed, etc. There's nothing wrong with being one-footed, but you rarely get a winger that's able to cross the ball as equally well with both feet. He's obviously got a great left foot, but he went down that line a couple of times, and some of the crosses, and he's not trying to smash it across goal. It's a controlled, curling cross, like a striker's delight. I'm looking from a striker's point of view. You want the ball hung up there. Iwan was great here. Pulled to the far post. He would love service like that, coming in and attacking balls like that. He put in some fantastic balls. He looked like, I don't know who was given the man of the match, but he looked to me like he was the man of the match. And, I love creative players and the wide players as well. But if you've got someone like who can do right or left foot, you've got a real bonus. And, of course, with Ndidi, there's also the option to swap. I don't know whether they did that at the weekend, but you've got the option to swap as well.
And that gives the left back a massive problem because, if you've got and we see it so many times now when a left-footed winger plays on that right-hand side, he wants to cut in all the time. So sometimes you'll get a left-back which will over-exaggerate his body position and force you down the lines, try and cross it with your right foot. Well, he's comfortable at doing that as well, so it's a catch-22 for whatever full-back he's going to be facing.
And at 19 as well, he looks a really exciting prospect.
Yeah, as I said, both wide players, look like they've got the bit between the teeth. They play football with a purpose. They're not always rolling their feet over the ball or doing little, lollipops over it. When they get the ball, they want to create something. They want to hurt the fullbacks on both sides. That's what I'm seeing at the minute. With Fataway, obviously, we've only seen him a couple of times. And being able, as Tony said, to go both ways gives a fullback a constant headache because as a fullback you become unsure where, number one, to put your body position or what body position to stand in when you're facing a player like that because he can go both ways. And obviously he's got that electric pace off the mark and he's got the quality. So there's a lot more to come from this young fella and he does look a really good prospect.
Was it his cross for Dewsbury Hall?
Yes.
Well, it's a fantastic ball in.
Yeah.
Absolutely great quality into the box. And he's more than capable of doing that on a regular basis.
Yeah, hopefully we see more from that. It'd be interesting. We'll come on to the Liverpool game in just a moment, what Enzo Maresca might do in terms of the team in that. Let's do our first of our Lurdles this evening first. If you're new to us here on Extra Time every Monday evening, we'll play little snippets of commentary in our Lurdle game. The clues will get easier and easier. It's all of the same goals, so we're looking for the goal scorer and the team that it was scored against. Don't be alarmed if the first clue is a little difficult. That's the whole point. It's supposed to get easier. Right, here's clue number 1.
Johnny Evans inside the centre circle here for Leicester. Watford still leading at Spurs and 0-0 in the other games around the Premier League.
That's all you're getting for clue number 1. So a reminder, we're looking for the goal scorer and the team that it was scored against. I'll play it one more time.
Johnny Evans inside the centre circle here for Leicester. Watford still leading at Spurs and 0-0 in the other games around the Premier League.
There we go. Right, we'll talk about Jamie Vardy now, because why wouldn't we talk about Jamie Vardy? What an unbelievable career he's had. It just seems to keep going, doesn't it, Tony Cottee? And when he got that penalty, I don't think there were any doubts where he was putting it. And in this case, it was in the top corner.
Positive, and the thing I like or love about Jamie is just that confidence, that arrogance. It's a self-confidence, but there's an arrogance as well there, and I think you have to have that as a goal scorer. Speaking for experience, you have to have that single-mindedness that you're going to score goals. And Jamie goes onto the field of play. I mean, he loves his football. You see, he sort of plays football on the edge. And, he's been a wonderful goal scorer. But as soon as the penalty was given, I think everyone in the crowd almost thinks, well, that's it. That's where we're going to get our goal from. We haven't managed to get the goal. Penalty, we're going to go one up. And, that's a great tribute to Jamie as well, because, you want to look at your penalty taker and think he's got that much confidence. Just with the run-up, he opens his body. And, the penalty is sensational. It's a sensational penalty. Is Jamie trying to put it as near to the top corner as that? I'm not so sure that would be the case, but they look great when they go in. But, it was just a fantastic penalty. And, he never shirks responsibility. He always steps up and takes the penalties and that. And, he scored a few over the years and that. But that's got to be right up there as in one of the most precise penalties I think he's taken.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. I think that's the best pen I've seen him take anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I think I said on the day, 2 keepers weren't saving that penalty.
I don't think 3 keepers is getting the tags.
And, you to be that accurate and precise, when your team's 0-0, you've dominated the game, there's a bit of frustration, you'd have to say, leaking into the team because they haven't broken the deadlock. Wilfred Ndidi, by the way, I mean, I still can't get over how good his feet were on Saturday to get the penalty. But then for Jimmy to step up as TCC, he's got that experience that I wouldn't call it an arrogance. I'd call it a super confidence and a self-belief at this level that he's obviously getting a bit of stick from the Bristol City fans, and that just sort of makes him super focused, thinking, right, bang, I'm going to show him something a bit special here. And as Tony says, he probably didn't he was probably going for the top half of the goal in that, but to put it where he's put it, I mean, it's fabulous.
We put out a brilliant slow-mo video on our socials. Make sure you go and have a look at it if you've not seen it. Of Vardy stepping up, hitting the penalty. Craig Haldane on Facebook says exactly what I was about to say. He does a little jump after he kicks it. And then a puff of the cheeks as soon as he sees it goes in. There must have been a second maybe where he was slightly worried. But then in that same video, you see him running away and then saying to the other players, nope, go away. This is all me. I've got to go to the other end of the pitch.
I mean, you talk about enthusiasm and desire and hunger. He's still got it in abundance, isn't he? What is he, 36 now? That was his 173rd goal for the football club. His 158th in the league. I mean, there was no margin of error, was there, the way he took it? And what I like about Jamie Vardy, he'll take the responsibility of taking that penalty, and he knew that it could be the goal that went on to win the game, the way the game panned out. It wouldn't affect him if he'd missed. That's if that's me, and I miss a penalty, that plays on my mind for a good few days, and I don't know if I'm taking the next one for the football club. It wouldn't bother him if he'd missed. No. And if
he'd probably gone and scored later.
Yeah, or if Leicester get one on at Anfield, and if he's playing, he'd take the next one. I mean, it was a magnificent penalty, and his celebrations were at the top class. He's got some good ones.
He looks like he's enjoying scoring so much, doesn't he? I mean, he always has done. And, I mean, I'm sure Ewan will agree with this. Like, when you play football and you're an attacker or a centre forward, whatever you want to say, there is nothing like the feeling of scoring a goal. It's the biggest buzz that you can get in football. It's the best feeling ever. And I would go so far as to add that when you retire, there is nothing that can replace that buzz in your life. People say, do I miss football? I say, no, I don't miss football. I miss scoring goals. And, I'd love to say to Jamie, just keep doing what you're doing. And if anything, enjoy every celebration, even more so than what you've done before, because he's getting to that age. He's at the end of his career. Just enjoy every single moment. But I don't need to tell Jamie Vardy that because he's enjoying every goal as it is.
Tell you what, the way he covered the ground to go and celebrate with the Bristol City fans, there's nothing wrong with his legs.
Absolutely. I mean, you write him off at your peril. It's as simple as that for me. I'd say he's in the twilight or the autumn, shall we say, but he's having let's call it an Indian summer.
How many times have we seen in Russell opposition fans? Is the PG way of saying it?
They don't learn, do they? The fans, the opposition fans. It's just, as you say, it just sort of re-galvanises him even more, and he thinks, right, bang, you're having it. And boy, did they have it. Was it Crystal Palace he did the old eagle one, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've seen him a few times run to the away end at King Power Stadium, or particularly the Hawthorns always springs to mind, doesn't it? West Brom away, he loves a celebration there, doesn't he? And as you say, Tony, I mean, he clearly is really enjoying it. You saw his celebrations, 19 seconds in, 21 seconds in, I think it was, against Southampton on Friday night. He gets that goal, and he's wheeling away, celebrating straight away.
Yeah, he was, and his immediate fault is just to cut his ear or whatever. I think he's got so many celebrations and things he wants to do in his repertoire because he scored so many goals, so we can revert back to quite a few of them. But yeah, he's just been a sensational goal scorer for Leicester City Football Club, and they're going to miss him whenever the time comes, whatever year, season, division Leicester may be in, they will miss him. It's almost impossible to replace, what he brings to the team, the confidence, the goal scoring ability. I've thoroughly enjoyed. I love watching goal scorers, and I've thoroughly enjoyed watching Jamie Vardy over the last 10, 11, 12 years, whatever it is at Leicester. He's been a fantastic player, and as Tag says as well, you think the opposition crowd, you think in a way they would sort of just keep quiet or shush or something, just but don't sing songs to Jamie Vardy, because all you're doing is winding him up to the point where he's going to score a goal and then he's going to celebrate in front of you. And yet they keep doing it. It's quite amusing to watch. But as I say, sensational player, and it was a brilliant penalty on Saturday.
The mate's got a really good saying: never flick a lion's you know what, because you absolutely make him mad. Talking of celebrations, right? Does anybody know what the Casey McAteer chicken one was at Carrow Road on Wednesday?
He basically just said his mate said, if you score again, do a chicken dance or something like that. I don't think there was anything to it, but he enjoyed it. And again, you said about Wednesday, how commanding a performance that was, how commanding it was against Southampton. Matt Elliott said he thinks that Saturday was Leicester's certainly best home performance of the season. Okay, the goals maybe didn't come alongside the ones that did away at Southampton, but they have been maybe slightly lucky in a few of the games before the international break that they were still winning, scoring goals late on. You make your own luck, I guess, in that way. But these 3 games this week, they have been commanding.
Yeah, is it luck or is it sort of... I don't know. I mean, two late-ish goals against Coventry, the late one against Cardiff. I don't know, it just shows a team that keeps going until the very, very death. And we know now games aren't going to go to 91, 92 minutes and finish. They're going to go to 100 minutes, 98, 99. I just think that's good professional play. I really, really do. And I think that it pays testament to how fit this group of players are, that they've still got the energy levels to keep going till the 97th, 98th minute.
In fairness, I think it was only 4 minutes on Saturday, wasn't it?
Is that what it was?
It was 4 minutes, I think, and it was 3 minutes the home game before, and everyone was booing. I didn't hear any boos on Saturday, ironically enough.
Stuart Russell on Facebook has had his first guess at tonight's Lurdle. He says, is it James Maddison against Liverpool? That is incorrect, but thank you very much for the guess. We will do clue number 2 now for you. A reminder, we're looking for the goal scorer and the team that it was scored against.
Johnny Evans inside the centre circle here for Leicester. Watford still leading at Spurs, and 0-0 in the other games around the Premier League. Barnes dancing past 2 on the left, swings in a ball towards...
We just cut it right at the key moment there. I'll play it one more time for you. So again, goal scorer and team it was scored against.
Johnny Evans inside the centre circle here for Leicester. Watford still leading at Spurs, and 0-0 in the other games around the Premier League. Barnes dancing past 2 on the left, swings in a ball towards...
There we go.
Towards...
Who do you think it is, Gerry? Fee Howe, one of our regular listeners, by the way, on Extra Time, says, hi guys, can you please say hi to me? I'm sick in hospital at the moment, Gerry. We know she listens regularly, so get well soon.
Yeah, I've met Fee on a few occasions, so yeah, sorry to hear that, Fee. Hope you get well soon.
Malcolm has said on Facebook, strange thing that he thinks Ndidi has replaced James Maddison and Harry Winks has replaced Wilfred Ndidi in the Leicester City team this season. And you can see the feat that you referenced for Wilfred Ndidi to win that penalty was unbelievable.
He did it a few times where he's just, used his right foot as a dummy, to take the ball one way, then taking it with his left feet, and then for the penalty, obviously doing the reverse, chopping inside and chopping back outside onto his right foot. Challenge comes in. Never any doubt it was a penalty, but he did it on 2 or 3 occasions where he was just gliding past players and obviously making them runs. We know he's got the engine to do that. But I just thought he was sensational. Without a doubt, the best game he's had. usual combative self, because it had to be combative for Leicester. It was a physical game against Bristol. There were some tasty challenges going in from both sides, which I love to see. And I'm not saying it wasn't dirty. It was all good, clean fun. But everything was hard fought. And we know Wilfred can handle that side of the game, but to see him, open up and, glance by players was just, a joy to see, and something I haven't really seen from him.
Yeah, it was brilliant from Ndidi, and as it was against Southampton, Tony, as well, last Friday, the way he scored that goal with a fake shot that cut inside, it's one that, I know we talked about it last week, but it's one that you'd have been proud of. Again, the feat to win that penalty at the weekend, similarly so, I'm sure.
Yeah, I particularly enjoyed his performance against Southampton. I thought it was sensational, and perhaps it'd be interesting to see what Wilf says about it, because sometimes you can get in a team and you can sometimes have a manager. I'm not sure this is the case. That's only an observation, but we just sort of hold you back a little bit. Make sure you protect the back four, and you can just get all these defensive thoughts put into your mind, which is great, and he can do that. I'm not saying he can't do that. He does it very well. But now Harry's come into the team. Harry's that sort of player, isn't he? Sits in front of the back four, and it's given Wilf the license to get forward a little bit, and he's marauding down the right wing and just pretty much showing up here, there, and everywhere. And he was involved heavily again at the weekend. But his performance against Southampton, particularly his goal as well, is fantastic skill. Didn't panic. Just checks it onto his foot, and it was a wonderful move. And 30-odd passes, I think it was, that Leicester put together that night. So I've been really impressed with him. There's been some really good starts to the season by certain individuals, but I think if you look at all the players that have played most of the games, I think Wilf's right up there in terms of consistency. His performance has been fantastic.
How well has the manager done to realise that he can play that role? He's played 90% of his football, maybe a bit more than that for Leicester as a sitting defensive midfielder. The new man's come in, thought, well, we've lost Maddison, I've signed Harry Winks, and I think he's been a magnificent signing already for Leicester City. He says, right, I need an attacking midfielder. Indeed, he's my man. And I think for the first time in a while, I think he's clear of any type of injury. Now, the time and time again when he's come back for a few games and picked up a niggly little injury, and he's kept him out for 2 or 3 weeks, he looks now fully fit, 100% fully fit.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. That, sometimes, managers come in, see his combative style, but forget about
what he can do.
What he can do, and I think, okay, certain managers are asking him to come and take the ball off the back four, facing his own goal, which I don't think is his strongest suit. But when he's running forward on the things and gathering the ball and running towards goal, you're just seeing a different side to him. Rather than taking the ball off his keeper or taking the ball off a centre half. He's playing, you have to say, fully to, 100% to his strengths now.
Yeah, and I guess as the season goes on, the more he scores, the more he creates, the more confidence he'll get, of course. Scott Blankley on YouTube has said it'll be very interesting to see how we play on Wednesday, and who do we think will be in the starting 11 at Anfield. It's a 7:45 kickoff. As ever, you can follow all the action on Fox's Hub. We'll be live previewing the game from 6:45, where we'll have all the team news. So, yeah, Scott is asking, who do you think will be in that starting 11, Ewan? Will there be many changes?
Well, there was 5 changes for the Norwich game after Leicester had won 4-1 at Southampton. There was 5 changes again on Saturday, wasn't there, after the 2-0 comfortable win at Carrow Road. Yeah, it's not a priority this season, is it? It's two steady wins away from home in the Cup already, Tranmere and Burton, 2 comfortable wins. Go into a tough place now, but I think I heard Jurgen Klopp say over the weekend that there'll be many changes for Liverpool, so it's not going to be a team that probably we recognise too many of the names. But yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for Enzo once again to rest a few, because as we know, Championship games come thick and fast, and there's another massive game on Sunday away to Blackburn.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think there'll probably be one change, and that'll be Doyle. If he's come off, he's having a scan. I don't think he'll be risked. The keeper may get changed again. Stolarczyk, who I think's done pretty well when he's come in as well.
Kept a clean sheet at Huddersfield, didn't he, to be fair?
So, So he deserves it to get a goal in this cup game, even though it is at Anfield. And again, I suppose, yes, it's Liverpool. And I suppose as a manager and as coaching staff, you're always waiting to see who pops out of the draw and how you then try and, field a team of players to go to a place like Liverpool. But I think Ewan's right. You can't get away from the biggest prize. Yeah. And a cup run would be great, believe me. But this year, I think you've got a difficult game away as a Blackburn away next weekend as well. So that would be the priority for me.
Tony?
Yeah, I agree with what the boys say, and I think you just got to try and get the balance right. I mean, let's not forget there's going to be a lot of Foxes fans going up there to watch the team play. So, the one thing you don't want to do, and I totally understand and agree with what the boys have said, but if you make lots and lots of changes, and then if you say go and get beat 5 or 6-0, that doesn't do anyone any good, because it can then dent the confidence going into the weekend, even though you've made lots of changes. It's not fair on the fans, because the fans are travelling up to Anfield expecting the team to put in a good performance. But having said all that, you've got to give the squad players a chance. That's what this competition has become about. It's become about, giving young players a chance to get into the team and have a go, and also giving your squad players, I mean, I don't know how fit he is, but I would have surely Cottee comes into the reckoning, especially as he's a Liverpool fan. Mark Albrighton never lets anyone down, So Iheanacho's got to play. I'd be staggered if Jamie plays. I think Jamie will be safe for next weekend. So, there's already sort of maybe 2 or 3 changes, and the goalkeeper change. I think we're going to be looking at 6 or 7 changes from Leicester. But having said all that, this won't be the Liverpool team that destroyed West Ham in the second half yesterday. This will be a very much changed Liverpool team, albeit they've got a really good squad. So it's just trying to get the balance right for the manager. But priority this year, get out the Championship. That is the priority, and I think we'll all agree on that.
We said a week ago, I can't remember if it was before the Southampton game or before the Norwich game, 6 games in 18 days.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games. There's a lot of games. And I think Leicester have got the best squad in the Championship by far. Mm-hmm. When you think, Blackburn on Sunday, who haven't made a great start to the season, but then on Wednesday, Preston come to the King Power, 3rd in the league, made a fantastic start, 20 points I think they've got. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. So I think common sense comes into play, and I think we all agree that there will be quite a lot of changes to the starting 11.
Absolutely. As we said, you'll find out all of that team news at 6:45 on Wednesday evening on Fox's Hub, so do join us for that. Before we move on and do the globetrotting and the next of our Lurdles, let's take a quick look at how the Leicester City players celebrated the 7th win out of 8 at the start of the new season. Jamie Vardy said 3 points and a goal, happy Saturday. I'm surprised he didn't use a picture of him celebrating in front of the away end, but he went for that one. Steffi Mavididi, we always enjoy looking at his. He's just put, what is that, 7 W's in a row to...
Nice and simple.
Yes, exactly. 7 wins at the start of the new season. Ricky P, solid win, and the positive streak goes on. That pretty much resonates and says exactly what we're all thinking, really, there from Ricardo, of course, who took the captain's armband, as he always does, by the looks of things, from Jamie Vardy when he came off. Keane and Dewsbury Hall, top of the tree. It's exactly where Leicester are again. We like the ones that are straight to the point, of course. Keane and Dewsbury Hall there. And we know there's a couple from, we're getting to Wilfred Ndidi. It's another day, another grind, and 3 points. Classic Wilfred Ndidi. Again, right, and there's a couple from Bristol City as well from their side of things. I won't read out all of that from Andy King. He's thanking the Leicester fan. He got an unbelievable reception, Gerry, very quickly, didn't he?
Yeah, and rightly so. He's been here through, the thick and the thin of it all.
Yeah.
And, God, what is it, 2008, 2007 or something, I think maybe even a year or two before, like 2006.
Including his youth, a few years in the youth, he's spent about 16 years at the club.
Incredible career here, and been right there for the worst bit, getting relegated to League One, and then right there when it all started going right.
Yeah, Nigel Pearson as well. He took to well, what was Twitter, what is now X. He said, I wanted to thank the Bristol City and Leicester fans for the wonderful support myself and staff got yesterday. The way LCFC looked after our families was incredibly generous and respectful. Thank you from the four of us on behalf of their families. So, yeah, thank you to Nigel Pearson, who, again, no surprise, got a brilliant reception. Clue number 3 for our Ledel is coming up now. Again, we're looking for the goal scorer, which we get here. So who's the team that it scored against?
Barnes dancing past 2 on the left, swings in a ball towards Vardy! There's the equaliser! Jamie Vardy with the goal! We were talking about the headers, and Jamie Vardy responding to the fans who've been giving him a bit of stick in this game so far, and he springs towards the away section, cocks his ears, and says, "How about that?"
There we go. So that's the link, clearly, as to why we've done it. There's always a link for our Ledel. So it's Jamie Vardy going in, celebrating in front of the away end at King Power Stadium. So who was that against? The final clue tells us. So get all your final guesses in now. It's time for globetrotting as we approaching the last quarter of an hour of the show, which means it's time to hand over the reins to Iwan Roberts.
Goalkeepers coming up and scoring goals. I don't know if you saw it, an incident last week in the Champions League, the Olympic Stadium in Rome. Lazio v Atletico Madrid. Madrid went ahead in the 29th minute, and in it was the 95th minute. Their goalkeeper, Iwan Roberts, this 29-year-old Italian, comes up for the corner kick. It's a poor corner. It gets cut out the near post. They sort of recycle the ball. I don't know who puts the ball in from the left-hand side with his right foot. It's a magnificent ball. But the way Provedel times his run, I don't know if you've seen it, TC, it's an unbelievable header. And it was so funny. It was one of those that he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to celebrate. He just sort of started running, didn't he, with his arms down until his teammates. And it was literally with the last kick of the game, or last header of the game. Just thinking over the years how many sort of goalkeepers have come up and
I've seen
the
the
same.
I've seen the clip, you, and then I mean, it's actually a really good finish from it, and a fantastic run, isn't it? It's brilliant, really, from a goalkeeper. But I mean, when I first started playing, the fault of a goalkeeper coming out of his area was unknown, wasn't it? You wasn't allowed to come out of your area. I played originally at West Ham with the great Phil Parkes, and Parkes would never come out of his area at all. As I sort of progressed and you get into the sort of late 80s and the 90s, I remember Grobler, he was sort of one of the original ones who'd come out of goal. But the first time I ever saw a goalkeeper come up for a corner or anything was Peter Schmeichel. And when he did it, I think we all went, wow, what is he doing? This is ridiculous. But, I mean, he was an absolute trailblazer, Peter Schmeichel, because, obviously the goalkeeper's not going to come up until you're desperate and at the end of the game, as was the case for Lazio. But, up until Peter Schmeichel, I'd never seen anything like that. I think I'm just showing how old I am, though, boys. The fact that I can't say I played in a game where a goalkeeper scored.
Tags, you got a good one.
Yeah, I'm going to say I've never played in a game where a keeper has scored a goal, to be honest. And I've got a couple of memories. Remember Big Pat Jennings, TC, for Arsenal, was it? Where he scored it from his own box. I think the wind on his back, and he's launched one, and it's gone over the opposition keeper's head and into the back of that. But I think probably the most famous one in recent times was Carlisle's keeper, Jimmy Glass, when he needed to. Carlisle needed to win the game to stay in the league, and obviously they were drawn. And it's the dying embers of the game. Jimmy Glass comes up for a set piece. He scores the winner. And ironically, it was Nigel Pearson who was the manager back then for Carlisle. And he just signed him in the old transfer window. It was like, the last Thursday or the second Thursday, whatever it was, in March, back in them days, when the transfer window shut. And that's when Nigel Pearson signed Jimmy Glass and, helped Carlisle on that day, stay in the Football League, or else they were getting relegated to the, non-league.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Yeah, I've just gone. I always get a Leicester link in there, don't I? Kasper Schmeichel against Yeovil in 2014. Yeah. Very late equaliser the year that Leicester obviously gained promotion to the Premier League. He heads it, brilliant header off the bar. It comes back out, definitely goes over the line, by the way. Yeah. Chris Wood follows it in with a really good header. he gets the goal. Chris Wood gets the goal. There was a big uproar about it from Leicester fans saying, give it to Kasper Schmeichel. He never did get it in the end. But we all know that Kasper Schmeichel did. His dad, by the way, scored 11 goals in his career.
I can top that. I can beat that. Brazilian goalkeeper. He's 50 years of age. He's only just retired in 2015. Rogério Ceni, I think his name is, played 17 times for Brazil, played 870 league games for Sao Paulo, scored 103 goals. But I mean, he took penalties, he took free kicks. He had an unbelievable left foot.
Yeah, that's better than a lot of strikers, isn't it? Right. Thank you very much for that, Ewan. We now need to obviously go to the final part of our show. We've got football Jenga. We've also got our predictions to do before that. I'll do the fourth and final Lurdle though. This gives it away. So if you haven't got it by now, you'll get it now because it tells the team. Stuart Russell has guessed Vardy against Newcastle. That is incorrect. Have you got it?
No.
No. No one's got it. Ewan doesn't have it. Tony doesn't have it. We've had 2 correct answers. Very well done, firstly, to Malk Heggs on Facebook. He got it after 2 guesses.
Wow.
He says Vardy against Burnley, the equaliser to make it 2-1. Brilliant work. Well done, Malk, for getting that after 2 guesses.
The equaliser to make it 2-1?
No, we won 2-1. Sorry, Jerry. Equaliser, and we ended up winning 2-1.
You said the equaliser to make it 2-1.
Thank you. I won't pick up anything you say, Jerry, wrong. And Neil Plater as well. Well done to Neil. He says Vardy against Burnley in the 2-1 at King Power Stadium. So well done to Malk and to Neil for getting that. Right, before we do our predictions, I've got to read out tonight's theme for our football Jenga at the end of the show. After that little comment, I hope Gerry loses this one and goes
I'm not bothered.
Ahead of Wednesday's fixture.
I don't care.
Ahead of Wednesday's fixture, name any player to appear in the matchday squads for both teams in Leicester's last Carabao Cup match against the Reds in December 2021.
Oh, I'm out of this.
So December
what year was it, Dan?
December 2021. So 2 seasons ago, Leicester played Liverpool in the Carabao Cup at Anfield. The game finished 3-3, I think it was. Liverpool won on penalties. So name any player that was in the squad, either of the 2 squads, Liverpool or Leicester's, that evening. Right, I'll very, very quickly rattle through the predictions that we did at the weekend ahead of the end of the show. Ewan Roberts and I, we'll do it very quickly, Ewan, don't worry about that. Ahead of each Championship game week, the 4 of us go head-to-head. We pick 5 results of games in the Championship. Ewan and I aren't doing very well. What was the first game? Was it on Saturday? We'll take a quick look at how we fared in those. Can't see them on the screen yet. Not the end of the world. We can't see them. There we go.
Friday, when it first one was Friday.
Friday, thank you, Ewan. Birmingham against QPR. No one gets any points. Everyone predicted a Birmingham win there, so nothing. The next game is obviously on the Saturday. When we get to that, again, I don't think Ipswich Town against Blackburn Rovers. We all predicted an Ipswich win. Obviously, no one was predicting 4-3 in that one, so it's 1 point each for everybody there. The next game was West Brom against Millwall. A point each for myself and for Tony for saying that would be a draw. Nothing for you and Gerry. This has been pretty dire so far from all of us, hasn't it? Stoke against Hull was on Sunday. That finished 3-1 to Hull there. It was only me and Tony again getting points. We both said an away win.
You've had a good
going on so far. There's 1 game left. Sunderland against Cardiff.
No one got this.
Surprise result, if you like. Cardiff winning away at Sunderland. Yet no one got anything. So Tony and I, the only point scorers all weekend. That is pretty poor, isn't it? We got 2 points each. Let's see how that's left the league table then. This doesn't need to be on for long. I've clawed some back at the bottom of the table there. I needed that. We all got 1 point for one of them anyway. I can't remember. 3 points for me, 3 points for Tony. That's how it's left the league table.
Yeah, we all got Ipswich right, didn't we?
Yes. It is now time for our football Jenga then at the end of the show. The theme is, just a reminder, ahead of Wednesday's fixture, name any player to have appeared in the matchday squads for both teams in Leicester's last Carabao Cup match against the Reds in December 2021.
My mind has gone blank.
Gerry's mind has gone blank, considering it was less than 2
Dan,
years ago.
Dan,
and I was there.
And you were there as well.
Yeah, and I was there.
Dan, what round was it?
That was the
quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals, yeah, I thought so, yeah.
Yep. Ewan, we'll start with you.
Oh.
Very rarely start with you. To my left-hand side.
I'm going to go Kasper Schmeichel.
I will say Wilfred Ndidi.
Me, Danny Ward.
It's an awfully long wait.
He was there as well.
I know.
Oh, so-
It's Gerry gone already. Wow.
I couldn't.
wow.
Have you got somewhere to be or somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, see you later, Gerry. Right, Tony, round to you. There's only 3 of us left.
Right.
Good.
Jamie Vardy.
James Maddison.
Scored a great goal, by the
Yeah,
way.
he did.
Yeah, from about 30 yards out. Ryan Bertrand.
Wow. Good shout. Ryan Bertrand.
Harvey Barnes.
It's Tony out as well. That just leaves the 2 of us, you, and it could be a quick one this week.
Soyuncu.
Yannick Vestergaard.
Ricardo.
I'm going to delve into the Liverpool players here. Minamino scored, I think, the equaliser in the last minute.
Luke Thomas.
Jota.
Dewsbury Hall.
Kelechi Iheanacho.
Patson Daka.
Kelleher.
Samari.
Thought it might have been as well, Gerry. I was hoping so. Yuri Tielemans.
Papa Mendy.
I think Ewan might be winning this one. Divock Origi. That's me out. So you don't need to get one, no, because you went first.
No, you went first.
Yes, so well done, Ewan. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done, you.
I think you had an idea it was that one coming,
I
didn't
did.
you? Yeah. Well done to you. It was one tonight's football. Jenga.
Not that I take it too seriously or anything.
No, nice. Predicting what the question's going to be. I like it. Yeah, that's another victory for you, Ewan, at the start of this season. Not been too many. You were on fire last
only my
year.
second, I think,
Only your
this
second one
season.
so far this season. So hopefully we'll see a different outcome, Gerry, on Wednesday. As to what we saw a couple of years ago.
You know, I think the way it is, Leicester go up there with nothing to lose. It's as simple as that. Liverpool will be expected to win. Both teams will make changes, as we predict. Well, Jurgen Klopp, I think, has already said he's going to be making changes. And I expect Leicester, you know, he's made 5 changes in league games. So there's
When they've won.
When they've won. So there's going to be no surprise that he's going to make some more changes for this game. We'll just have to wait and see how many. But yeah, they've got nothing to lose, going up there full of confidence. We'll just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, no wonder they're in full of confidence, Tony. I'm just going to read a stat out for you, which I was saving for the end of the show. Basically, Ipswich and Leicester have become only the 5th and 6th teams in Championship history to win 7 of their opening 8 games.
Well, it's an incredible stat, isn't it, Dan? Fantastic stat, and you know, and to recover from the whole defeat as well. You know, that it takes some mental strength as well, because you know it can affect confidence, it can affect performances and results. You know, but to bounce back with the 3 victories, but you know, it's just been a fantastic start to the season for the club. You know, and it's going to be hard to judge what goes on Wednesday, because we've already said, you know, the importance already is focused probably on Sunday, and particularly on next Wednesday, you know, playing against Preston, to see exactly really where Leicester are in terms of this championship. You know, they've made a great start, haven't they, Preston, under Ryan Lowe? So, you know, that's going to be a really, really tough game. But I think this is a good game for the Leicester boys. You know, going to Liverpool, it's a great place to play football. Really great place to play football. You know, whatever team is playing for Liverpool, there'll be a big crowd there. You know, there's going to be 40-odd thousand fans there making a real noise. And, you know, if Leicester can get a result, and they've got a good squad, we've already said on it, you know, of course Liverpool have got a good squad, but Leicester have got probably the best squad in the Championship. Use the squad and just try and get a result. Doesn't even matter whether it's on penalties or whatever, just try and get through to the next round.
Yeah.
But if they do get knocked out, I think everyone will say, you know what, let's focus on the Championship.
Yep, you can follow all the action then on Wednesday evening. It's a 7:45 kickoff. That means we'll be live from 6:45, so do join us for that on Fox's Hub. Big thank you tonight to Gerry, Taggart, to Tony Cottee for their company. As ever, my co-host Iwan Roberts alongside me. His second win of the season, as he's informed us on Football Jenga. He'll be happy driving home to Norfolk with that one, won't you, tonight? Thank you to you three, and we'll see you all again on Wednesday evening for that cup game.